failing the test of dignity and determination. Dr. Nazir Jilani. The present leadership in Kashmir has to own all good and all bad that has happened to the habitat and people of Kashmir in the last 22 years. If there is a poll, people would say that they have lost in honor, in dignity and self-confidence for the first time since 1846, when they were sold by the British to Maharaja, or more so since the first organized uprising of Shawbafs in 1865. People will also conclude that it is for the first time since Kashmir became a subject of self-determination at the UN in 1948 that we have killed it for the present. All that we can do is to keep it alive as a principle for the future. It remains to be seen whether any one of the two factions in Hurriyat or outside the alliance has matured to a reliable point, just like the Commons Speaker, John Bercow MP, in the British House of Commons when he defined history in his welcome address to President Obama and said that history is more than the path left by the past. It influences the present and can shape the future. Unfortunately, while defending the jurisprudence of Kashmir case, our leaders and some intellectuals try to shy away from history. They make a serious mistake in recognizing history from 1989-90 and forget the enforceable jurisprudence of Kashmir case, in favor of joint control formula of Musharraf. A people who braved Seditious Meetings Act of 1914, endured unprecedented poverty and did not fail to collect private funds to support Punjab Khilafat Committee can well sustain themselves for a better future in 2011 and after. It is the duty of a leader that he is able to discharge the public trust with dignity, determination and distinction. Unfortunately, whenever there is a test of leadership, our leaders manifest unforgivable weaknesses in their understanding of the Kashmir case and in the choice of their political phrase. It is the use of proper political phrase that enabled Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to ridicule and reject, citing reasons of security, President Obama's pre-1967 borders proposal between Israel and Palestine. One can see that our leadership and intellectuals invited from the Valley either failed the test or struggled in vain to make an impact at an event organized by the University of AJK in Muzaffarabad on May 23 to 24, 2011 on Kashmir: an Emerging Global Perspective. It was second such conference and not the first of its kind as reported by the press in the Valley. The first conference was organized by the university on August 24 to 25, 1997, and the author made a contribution at this conference. This time I could not respond to the invitation of the organizers because of my other schedule in the United Kingdom and the reasons that some members of my family were in Pakistan. Our elderly and highly respected leader Syed Ali Shah Gilani addressed via a satellite link this two-day Kashmir conference. It appears that Mirwais Umar Farooq was not encouraged to speak on this occasion. It may be that the invisibles that run such shows wanted to strike a worldly balance because Mirwais had been to Geneva and Brussels on 2 occasions. I was deeply disappointed to see the text of the speech delivered by Gilani sub via satellite. Majority of the speakers were the regulars and with their routine text. The address of Gilani Sahib has remained far remote from his duty to discharge the people's trust with dignity, determination and distinction. He failed to execute his address in respect of Kashmiri people's title to self-determination as accepted at the UN, as referred in Hurriyat Constitution and in the Constitution of Pakistan. He has made a serious error of judgment in saying that the freedom struggle of Kashmir is, despite being local in nature, was also important for survival of Pakistan. In fact, the right of self-determination has its universality embedded in it. It is neither local nor national or bilateral. There is a UN mechanism agreed for the resolution of Kashmir case and 194 countries of the world are committed to this mechanism. Pakistan is a party to the dispute and has charter duties under the UN Charter and obligations to carry out under UNCIP resolutions. Government of Pakistan is obliged to honor Article 257 of the Constitution of Pakistan in respect of the territory and the people of Kashmir. It is also bound by the constitutional arrangements made with the government of AJK. No action taken by the government of Pakistan or any of its agents of any manner could be regarded as valid and lawful if it remains at variance to the fundamental right of self-determination. India and Pakistan or Kashmiri governments under their respective control remain under caution under UN Security Council Resolution of March 30, 1951. senior Kashmiri leader has failed to present a holistic interest of his people, which include the rights of non-Muslim state subjects as well. He has failed to raise substantive issues of 5 generations of refugees living in Pak and Pakistan, massive unemployment in J&K, Pak, Gilgit and Baltistan, the duties of India and Pakistan in treating the natural resources embedded in the natural habitat of Kashmir as trust properties, in particular the unilateral use of Kashmiri waters, death of a generation and the liabilities accrued by Pakistan, also India. Unfortunately, his vision of globe is not robustly reassuring. It falls short of the vision which he was required to address under the conference title, namely Kashmir in Emerging Global Perspective. He is wrong to say that India has its eyes on Afghanistan. It would have been helpful and less risky if he had avoided any interest in or opinion on Afghanistan at this point. Afghanistan is currently in the hands of NATO forces and America has a lead interest in the country. There is no way that NATO would allow India to eye on Afghanistan, and on the contrary, Americans are treating India as a partner and equal in their consideration of Indian interest in Afghanistan. Giolani Sahib should have known through these years of experience and by keenly observing the civil society movement in Pakistan that Kashmir and Afghanistan, foreign policy, have continued to remain in the exclusive domain of the military establishment. There is a growing debate in Pakistan that military establishment and secret agencies have been acting outside the limits of their oath and duties apportioned in the constitution as subordinates to the elected government. This has caused a great harm to the sovereignty of the country and the dignity and welfare of the common citizen in Pakistan. Elderly leader has failed to make a case for his people in the global perspective for the audience at the conference and the rest. He did not execute any agenda in the interests of the people of Kashmir. It has been another opportunity wasted. The conference, with all its inherent failings, was an opportunity to address the audience in India, Pakistan, and region and go universal at the same time. He should have apportioned criminal liability upon India and Pakistan for failing to respect life in Kashmir and causing the death of a generation and destruction of the habitat. It could have been followed by a direct demand for reparation and compensation from the two countries, and an appeal should have gone to the world for their urgent intervention to save the habitat of Kashmir and consider special aid package to arrest the menace of unemployment until the realization of self-determination. It does not mean much if Giolani Sahib says that he was not against meaningful dialogue, but the 150 rounds of dialogue in the past had proven that without taking Kashmiris into confidence, issue cannot be resolved. He has an experience that when it came to the decision time, Musharraf did nudge past Giolani Sahib's role in Kashmir politics. He was marginalized by the establishment, which is a role in the matter. He should not forget the fact that when his representative in Islamabad was given a choice to choose between him and the establishment, his representative chose to represent the establishment in London. So is true of many others. When they are given an opportunity to make a choice, they all bubble with readiness to be with the establishment. It is unfortunate that our leadership has again failed the test of dignity, determination and distinction. Author is London-based Secretary-General of JKCHR, NGO in special consultative status with the United Nations, and can be mailed at dr-nazigilani@jkchr.com.